On today's episode, we are going to show you how we flipped this sad, forgotten, and unwanted Lane cedar trunk that we got from the Goodwill bins for $5 into a high-end look for less of Ashley furniture. The original inspiration piece was $500. Can you believe that? Even Piper was amazed at how much money we saved with this DIY. Then I'm going to take you with me to restock my booth. And also, I have great news. Thanks to Squarespace as our sponsor today, I have added my Etsy store to my website officially. You guys have been waiting for a while for this, so I can't wait to share that great news with you. So we got this Lane cedar chest from the Goodwill bins for $5. It still had all the original tags in it. It looks to me to be from the 70s if I had to guess, just based on the colors and the style of the tag. I don't know. If you have the same chest and you know when it was made, please let me know. There's a really good chance somebody who is watching has this. Still has the warranty in there. I guess they never actually sent that in, but I mean, I'm so guilty of doing that with all of my warranted items. I always forget to send in whatever they have to send in. But it has everything original in there and it looks brand spanking new on the inside. But the outside has quite a bit of damage to the veneer. So when I took a closer look at this piece, I found out that it is made of a plywood with the veneer covering the plywood. So it's not completely solid wood, but I wanted to turn it into this style of furniture. We have this coffee table. I bought it from Facebook Marketplace for like $125, and I want to match this trunk to this style because we have literally the furniture set in this picture here. It's all from Ashley Furniture, and I want everything to kind of go together. My husband really enjoys when our furniture all matches. Let me know if you also enjoy if your furniture matches. But this is $500, and this trunk right here is going to end up costing me less than $20 to recreate this look. And right now, my husband's just going to clean it out. He took over the first part of the DIYs today, so he's going to be the one doing the cleaning. He's removing the handles off right now because we're going to go with the type of handles that match what was on that Ashley Furniture Bolenberg table so that it all kind of goes together. And I'll tell you all about that when we get to that point of the DIY. But we always clean the pieces with like a dry cleaning first. So the first way that we clean them is by taking the shop vac and just vacuuming out all the gross stuff. So before we get anything wet or spray any cleaners on here, we always suck up all the dust and debris and anything else that's on here. It makes cleanup so much faster and easier and less gross because you don't really have to touch all that gross stuff if you suck it up with the vacuum first. Then he's going to go in and do the second part of our quote unquote dry cleaning by taking this brush that attaches to your drill and brushing out any other debris that may be stuck in the cracks, or like say there's spider webs or God only knows what could be in some of these pieces of furniture. They are used and they are decades old. But if you are interested in trying out these brushes, I have them linked in my Amazon store in the description box down below. They are really cheap, and I've had these for probably 4 years now and have not had to buy new ones. They're still kicking butt today. So if you want to try those out, I highly recommend them. Not sponsored for that. I just love them and I paid for them with my own money. Now my husband's going to put new holes on here for the hardware. We're going from a 2-screw piece of hardware to a single screw hardware knob, and all he has to do is find the center in between those two original holes and put the new hole there. But let's just take a second to be extremely grateful for the fact that we found this chest in this condition for $5. I can't believe it. Lane chests go for a lot of money. They are something that people really love because of their quality, and it's kind of a collector thing at this point. But finding it at the Goodwill bins means that it didn't sell at a Goodwill store, and it was on its last chance of being sold, and if I didn't get it, they probably would have thrown it away. Now it's time to put the Bondo on. I use the 15-minute quick drying Bondo so that way I don't have to wait forever to sand it. It comes with a cream hardener. If you've never used Bondo before, what you do is you take a little bit of like a golf ball size amount of the Bondo, and then you just squeeze on a tiny bit, like as much as you'd put toothpaste on your toothbrush, and you mix it all in there, and then it will dry very quickly. And the 15-minute dry time means it's 15 minutes so you get to sand it. So you have really like a couple minutes before it starts hardening up and getting chunky. So little bits at a time are the best way to go. You can't mix up a big batch and hope to do all of it, or else it'll start getting real chunky and dry. So keep that in mind when you're using Bondo. But it's extremely durable material, and I'm using it to rebuild the feet on here because the plywood that was underneath had kind of disintegrated a little bit just from the age. And then I'm also going to use it to fill in the holes. Bondo is the best for filling in holes when you're doing new hardware because it doesn't shrink. So sometimes when you're using wood filler, it'll shrink down and then those holes that you filled in become a little bit more visible again. That doesn't happen when you use Bondo. So if you want to get it right on your first try, then use Bondo. If you are going to be staining your piece, though, I would not recommend using Bondo because it's not stainable. I haven't seen any that is, at least. So just keep that in mind. It's only for pieces you plan to paint. Something funny that I just remembered about this is when I went to get it in the store, I said, hey, I'd like to get this chest, how much is it? And they say $5. Usually everything in the furniture section they're going to tell you is $5. Anything large, they say $5. And so I kind of expected it to be $5, but they were shocked that I wanted it. They were like, why do you want it? It doesn't open. And I was like, what do you mean it doesn't open? They said, it's locked and there's no key. And I said, you just push the key, the little lock part. And they were amazed. They could not believe that it was that simple to open it. So I wonder if the reason it never sold and how it ended up in the bins and almost in the trash was simply because people just didn't know that you could push the lock and it would open. I don't have the key, but all you have to do when it's already unlocked is just push the actual keyhole, and it's a button that opens the top. And I just thought it was so funny that they had no idea that that's what it did. And that might be the reason why I lucked out and got this piece for as cheap as I did, just because whoever handled it after it was donated had no idea that you could open it. I'm glad it wasn't locked, like actually locked. That would have been a harder situation to figure out. We probably would have had to take the hinges off, or I don't know what we would do. Something else I've learned about Lane cedar chests is that when you have those locks on there, I guess it's like a safety issue for children. So kids can actually get locked in there if you don't remove that. And so if I were to ever resell this, I would take that lock completely off and just cover it with a cute little fake keyhole because it is a safety issue. I'm not concerned about my kids getting locked in there because I know where my kids are at every second of every day. And I know they're not able to open this because none of them know that that's how that opens. And it's in an area of the house that they're never left alone in. So I'm glad that they can't get into it. That's the whole point of me getting this in the first place, was to keep them out of what is going inside here. But I sanded the top completely and then I wiped it down. I'm going to let that dry and let my face dry because I am so sweaty and disgusting. And once it's dry, I will go over it with my 220 grit sandpaper because all of the little wood fibers are going to start sticking up from the water. And so it'll help me not have that keep happening as I'm using a water-based paint wash stain on here. And wish me luck. Hopefully this helps. I've heard that this helps. I've never actually tried it. So we'll see if it actually does help. But it's almost dry already since I have the fans on it. So hopefully my face would dry that fast. It is already hot and humid here in Houston, Texas, so that explains why I was so sweaty. The 220 grit did a really good job of getting rid of the rest of the blemishes on here, although it is not going to be perfect. This thing has marks, and I think that makes it cool, and I like the character of it. But let's get it inside now and start figuring out what paint color I'm going to do on the bottom to match that Ashley Furniture stuff. So the entryway already has a table in here that is from Ashley Furniture, and I'm going to try and match it. Ignore the mess. I'm trying to sell things and I have children. But this color is called Chateau, and it is by Fusion. I got it on clearance from a furniture paint store. But now Piper has an announcement to make. Thanks to our sponsor Squarespace, I now have my Etsy store up on my website. Creating my own website was so easy with Squarespace. So using their Blueprint AI, I was able to create all of this that you're seeing right now. I have an About Me section. I can even link all my social medias on here, which I really needed a place where all of my information was in one place for people who are trying to look up, like, how do they email me? How do they get a hold of my Facebook? I even posted my first ever blog post, which is like such a dream come true that I actually have a blog to post. I just can't believe it. But you can also sell things on here. You can do like even digital products. You can make a membership for your website, and they will help you make your whole website, which is what I needed because I literally know nothing about making websites, like literally nothing. So if you're interested in starting your own website, go to squarespace.com and do the free trial, check it out and see if you like it. And when you're ready to launch, you can go to squarespace.com/desertdiy and save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. I hope you really have fun making your website because I sure did. But let's get back to this project. It's time to paint. I feel like this is oftentimes my favorite part of the video, is when you start getting to see the huge changes on a piece. Like, yes, you did see me do the prep work, but adding the paint is really where the magic happens. Although my favorite part of the actual makeover, like doing the makeover, is putting on the hardware. So that's coming up pretty soon too. But I added 2 coats, or kind of 2.5 coats of the Chateau color by Fusion, and it has its own built-in clear coat, and this paint is really, really durable. So I paid for this with my own money. I'm saying this opinion because I truly believe it. It's really good paint, and you should check it out if you ever get the chance to, especially if you can find it on sale somewhere, like say a shop has some samples or clearance colors. Check it out. Give it a chance. You're going to really like it. And I'm painting it on with my favorite type of paintbrush, which is, I think it's a Zebra brand paintbrush, but it's like a square cube, and it's angled at the same time. It just gives really good coverage, and it's really smooth. And I know a lot of people ask, how do you get a smooth finish when you're brushing on? So that's one of the ways you get a smooth finish when using a brush, is by using really good quality brushes that create a smooth finish because of how fine their brushes are. But here's a second coat. What is your favorite to watch? The first coat of paint or the second coat of paint? Mine is always the first coat of paint because that's when you start to see the vision come to life. But a lot of you have said that the second coat of paint is actually your favorite to watch. So let me know in the comment section down below which is your favorite, because sometimes I don't even show the second coat. So if that's your favorite, I need to make sure that I'm showing it. But after that was all done, I flipped a piece right side up. You know I always start my pieces upside down first and paint the underneath side. And then I flip it right side up and paint all the spots that I missed or give it the last coat. For the paint wash, I'm doing a really simple paint wash. All I had to do was take my brush that already had tons of paint in it and add a little bit of water to a cup and rinse out my brush, and that created a quick and easy paint wash. I did a few coats of this paint wash on here. The reason I'm doing this paint wash is because I want to get rid of the yellow and orangey tones, and also you can see there's some dark strips in here. So I wanted to make sure to get rid of those dark areas by lightening them up with a little bit of a white wash. Then I'm going to test out this Fusion Antiquing Glaze. I've never used it before, but I bought it on clearance. So I wanted to try it out, and it turns out it is way too light of a color. I am nowhere near matching that Ashley Furniture piece with adding this glaze. But once I started, I have to do the whole thing. I can't let it be blotchy. So I had to make a full layer of it. And I just want to show you that if this is the look you're going for, this is where you can stop. But since I'm trying to match something else, I'm not going to stop here. But it does look gorgeous like this, and it did get rid of all of the yellowy colors. It's a nice, like, I don't know, just muted version of it. Then I went over it with Dixie Belle's water-based gel stain and Tobacco Roads, and again, nowhere near dark enough. I don't know why it was not darkening up very much, but it wasn't. And so you can see this right here does not match at all to the dark top of this Ashley Furniture table. So I'm going to go over it with some black wax, which I got 50% off on a sale, of course, because I am always trying to stay on a budget and not spend a whole bunch of money. But once I added the black wax on using just a paper towel, it was perfect. It matched it so well. In fact, it actually matched my floors almost perfectly. I don't think I could have done a better job if I tried, and it just so happened to work out with all these things I was experimenting. This could have gone totally wrong, but it didn't. So I am extremely thankful that this turned out gorgeous. And don't forget, once I show the reveal, I am going to take you guys along with me to my shop and show you my boutique and all the things that I recently stocked in there, and kind of like give you an idea of where it is in the store and what the store is like, because I don't think a lot of you even know what kind of store my booth is in. It's not in an antique store, so it's something different, and you may want to check that out at the end of the video. But now it is time for my favorite part, which is adding the hardware. The hardware I got from Hobby Lobby, half off, so it was $2.50 for each of these knobs, which means that I spent a total of $10 on the knobs, and they look high-end. They look like Pottery Barn knobs. They are really great quality, high-end looking knobs, and they match really well with that Ashley Furniture Bolenberg look. But here it is, all finished. If you haven't noticed, or if you may be new to my channel, I actually redid my whole entryway, so this is a little bit of a sneak peek. Piper's over here getting her back scratched on the carpet. Hey Piper, do you like how it turned out? Does it look really good? I think it looks really good. She just wants to play ball. But I'll show you in the next video how we did a complete makeover on our entryway, including floors and all shiplap on the walls. But look at how great this turned out. It looks fantastic. It looks expensive. It looks like I spent a bunch of money at Ashley Furniture getting a brand new piece of furniture, but this is probably a better quality. I don't know for sure, but it is laminate over plywood, but it still looks fantastic. It looks like $1,000,000 if you ask me, and that hardware is gorgeous. Well, that is the most updated tour of my in-person boutique shop. I do want to add a Historia sign up here, I think with black wooden letters. What do you think about that? Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw today, don't forget to hit subscribe down below, and we will see you next time. Bye!